Hello, 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 hello. Happy Thursday. I'm Shannon, and this is Radiant Rap. It's time for Radiant Rap. No, it's not just an acronym. I believe that we are all meant to shine and shine radiantly. The radiant is an acronym for what I feel like we need to be healthy and whole. We need rest. We need activity awareness. We need to be aware of what it is that we're doing, conscious. We need to be woke, stay woke. That's what the young people say. We need a good diet. We need to be considerate about what we eat. I believe that we need to have introspection, we prayer and meditation, in our life. Today is National Prayer Day, and I'm praying that tonight's topic will inspire someone, will help someone. And that's what my prayer is for every week that I go live and my life work to help, even if it's just one person. We need agua. We need to stay hydrated with water. We need note taking, to journal, to write down things, to keep track of things. And we need to train our bodies. Those are the things that I feel that we need to do to be healthy and whole. So that's why the acronym RADIANT and RAP, because we rap, and I actually like when you interact with me, and I appreciate that. Sometimes you don't get a chance to be here live because it is 5 o'clock and that's on the East Coast and you're still at work or you're traveling back and forth. But I so appreciate that you check it out during the week and you make comments. Like last week, that Radiant Rap, I don't know what it is now, but the last I looked, it was like over 300 views, I think. So that's pretty cool. And I forget how many comments, but it was just pretty cool. So this week, I promised last week that this week I would talk a little bit about vegan, like what is my whole vegan story, and give the update as I promised that I would at the beginning of the year. I didn't talk a whole lot about being plant-based last year. And I started talking about it this year more because of the results that I was having. So I have to say that this is a controversial, did I say it right? How do you say it? Controversial. I think I'm saying it right. Controversial topic. There's people on both sides, like, the claims that are made for, being a meat lover and wanting to stay a meat lover, dadgummit. And so I'm really not here to argue. I really want to just share my story, one, and two, share some cold, hard facts, because certain things are just facts, right? And then of course, opinion, politics, and the love of money distorts so much of the information that we get, because like in the meat industry, trust and believe, the government is all over it. It's a very powerful industry, much like the pharmaceutical industry. So it makes the topics very controversial. One thing is certain, hard, cold fact: heart disease is the number one killer, leading cause of death of men, women, and people of most racial and ethnic groups in the United States. One person dies every 30 36 seconds. Okay, another one's about to die. One person every 36 seconds in the United States dies from cardiovascular disease. Fact. 1 in 4 deaths is from a cardiovascular disease. Okay, so this month is fitness, National Fitness and Sports Month, as well as Mental Health Month. So I think nutrition fits in well with, us being active and being healthy. Okay. Um, I don't know. A couple of, I thought, kind of cute quotes were, one was, people eat meat and think they're going to become strong as an ox, but they forget that ox eat grass. Like, ox don't eat meat, and they're the amongst the strongest animals, right? They don't eat meat. Um, that was a quote I saw. I saw a quote by Paul McCartney, and it said, "If slaughterhouses had glass walls, we'd all be vegetarian." Maybe. My poppy was a meat uh, man for, I don't know, 30, 40 years, and he don't eat meat. He still does dairy though, but he don't eat meat no more. And my mom still eats, that's my mom's husband. She still eats meat, but he don't. So I don't know if that influenced him not to eat meat. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but back in the day, you go in the store and you'd have your meat prepared. I mean, he was a butcher. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. One more statistic that I thought was interesting, because I said 36 seconds. So what, have I been on here for a couple minutes now? So that's how many people have died from heart disease. The amount of people that have died from cardiovascular disease is equivalent to 4 jumbo jets crashing every hour, every day, every year. That's just another way of saying every 36 seconds. Okay. And we do know that eating lots of meat can clog our arteries. We know that it can cause inflammation. Now, I just want to switch to meat, because I'm not trying to convince you not to eat meat. What I am going to suggest is that you consider eating less meat. Consider it. That's what I'm going to suggest. And for me, in my case, I think I was about 56, right? Which in my family, I was doing very good to be 56. And I think with menopause and my age and the genetic factors, they all kicked in, perfect storm. And I go for my doctor's appointment, and I'm diagnosed with hypertension. Great. So maybe 57. I was 57. So they put me on blood pressure medication. I was on a low dose of blood pressure medication. I started being more conscious, and I was already very conscious of what I ate. I didn't eat red meat at all. Chicken and fish. That's it. By that time in my life. Not now, growing up, we ate meat whenever we could have meat. We ate meat quite a bit. Bacon, pork, chicken, beef, all that, right? And when I was raising my kids, all that, especially, the holidays, and you had a meat, you had a starch, that's what you had, a vegetable. And my kids were good eaters. So I did raise them at least. I didn't have like a whole, I don't know. We didn't grow up on a whole lot of variation of vegetables, but but they ate vegetables with the meat. We had to have a meat, we had to have a starch, we had to have, I mean, that's just the way it was, right? Um, and so for a year, this blood pressure medication that I was on, it was fine. And then I went to a doctor's appointment the next year, and I could tell because I was starting to take my blood pressure myself that it wasn't being regulated. Like it was still going up, it was still high, even though I was on this blood pressure medication. So then what did the doctor want to do? Well, the doctor wanted me to go on a higher dose of blood pressure medication. So now I'm 58 and I had been diagnosed a year before on a blood pressure medication. And here we go into this thing, right? Because in 1 year, you got to increase the dose. So where are we going? And if that didn't work, they were going to try a different blood pressure medication. In my case, after, so 2021, the beginning of 2021, every year, anyways, for years, our church has done some variation of Daniel fast. So we do a period of no meat, no dairy in our diet. 2021, when we did that, I was inspired to just not put the dairy and the meat back into my diet. For that whole year, almost, my blood pressure was still not regulated as perfectly as I would have liked it to be, right? As good as I would like it to be with the medication. A couple times I tried to go off, and no, it wasn't happening. And so near the end of 2021, my blood pressure was regulated, and I decided to just be very diligent about checking my blood pressure, seeing where it was, and not taking the medication if I could keep my blood pressure stable. So lo and behold, I hadn't tried it in like 6 months, even though I was still not eating meat. And this time, my blood pressure was beautiful. And when I say beautiful, there are times when it is elevated, and then I could sit and do my meditation. Hey, Tay Tay. And do my meditation, and then my blood pressure would go back down. I would try to do that before, but it didn't help. So I believe in my case that eliminating the meat and the dairy from my diet has impacted my blood pressure. I don't believe that if I just did the elimination, but I was not doing the prayer and meditation part, I don't think my results would be as good. And I don't know how long this will be. I'm not saying 2 years from now, even 6 months from now, I'm not going to have to go back on medication. I don't know. And that's why when I first shared at the beginning of the year, I felt very vulnerable sharing that with you because I had only been off of the blood pressure medication for several weeks. And here I am telling you my blood pressure is regulated, but I didn't know what was going to happen. And another thing I must say is that I take my blood pressure often, and I suggest you do too, whether you're on medication or not, so that you know. Some people are just getting their blood pressure checked when they go to the doctor. That's not enough. And when you already know that, it runs in your family or you've shown signs, because it's a silent killer. The thing will just creep up on you and you won't always know. For a while, when my blood pressure started to elevate, I thought it was sinuses. I thought I was having sinus headaches when it initially happened. That was how, my body kind of told me I was off a little bit. And that's how I feel sometimes. But there are times when I'm not sure, like I'm not sure if my blood pressure, it feels like it may be, and then it's normal, or it feels like uh, uh, it's pretty normal, and then it's not. And then I'll just sit there and quiet myself and just kind of shut the whole operating system down, and 10 minutes or so, and then my blood pressure will regulate. That's me. So I wanted to give you an update on that. And then what I'm encouraging you to do, especially for those of you that you just love your meat, you eat a lot of meat, and you have cardiovascular disease that runs in your family. You have diabetes, you have heart disease in your family. Okay, can you consider eating less meat? Can you consider trying a meatless Monday, maybe a day of the week where you don't eat meat? Can you consider having less meat on your plate and more vegetables? Number 3, can you consider having more color on your plate? When you look at your plate, if it's brown and beige, getting more plants on that plate. Okay, can you consider those 3 things? That is basically what my challenge is for you. Not necessarily that you become vegan. And let me just say that there are plenty of unhealthy vegans, and that's what I don't want to be, an unhealthy vegan. And it is easy to be an unhealthy vegan, because what did I start this conversation out saying? I mean, it's controversial. It's also very political, and there's a lot of money tied to it. So there's a lot of money going into the plant-based industry now. And so the processes that are being done, some genetically, to have a burger beyond meat or whatever taste good, it might not be the healthiest thing. I mean, Oreo cookies are vegan. Right? So you could be vegan and be very unhealthy. The other point that I do want to make around that is different body types are going to respond to diets differently. Hey, Tanya. Different body types are going to respond to different diets differently. So there is a play with the amount of protein, the amount of wheat, because some people have a gluten allergy. I mean, we've developed all kinds of allergies over, I don't know what's in our soil, things like that over the last few generations. We have all these newfound allergies and stuff like that. So those are some of the things that, you consider. But you can't eat too many vegetables. Nobody's going to tell you that. You could eat too much fruit, especially if you are pre-diabetic or you're diabetic, because the fruit has the sugar in it. So you could eat too much fruit. But you can't eat too many vegetables. You can't. Your body is not like, you'll fill up on vegetables. Like you won't want no more. But there's things that are put in the preservatives in our foods that make us want to eat more. And think about it. Even your meat, if you take a meat and you don't put anything on it, is it going to taste good? Nope. No. I'm just telling you, the answer is no. You got to season that thing up and, whereas like onions. If you, I mean, saute them up, they're flavorful, even if you didn't put uh, seasonings. And I love spices and seasonings, and they're all good for you. So, yeah, those are the things I wanted to say. So just in terms of, oh, and the last thing I wanted to say about vegan, that vegan is not everything that's vegan is healthy. So when you see something that's vegan, that doesn't mean it's good for you. And also, it is harder for me and anyone who is plant-based to get enough protein. Like that's something that we have to work very hard. It's a little harder to get because if you're going to eat meat, you're going to have the protein. But all the whole grains, beans, when you put the vegetables, you put them together, that's how you get your protein. And because I want some extra protein, I do add the shakes, you know, and so forth into my diet. I also, if it's a purist vegan out there, I'm not her. Um, I have had honey during that time. I've had honey, and I will cook meat for my kids, my family. It's like if meat is in my refrigerator, I'm not freaking out. I'll cook that stuff how the way they like it for special occasions, but I encourage them to not, you know, just eat as much. I'm encouraging them to eat less. And most, my husband and the kids, they're, you know, they're adults, they do what they want, but they're kind of buying into, you know, this healthier lifestyle. I do take collagen. Collagen is not vegan. And I found a very good collagen because not all, I mean, you go to the health food store, there's a whole section of just rows and rows and rows of collagen. They're not all the same. So the one that I take actually, and I market to, is the formula for that collagen. It's a very good collagen. It's clean, and the formula for it is different than the collagens that you see. All these collagens on the shelf, they are not all made the same. So that would make me. So that's why a lot of times I'll say I'm plant-based, because I take that collagen every day. And one of the side effects, they said that it would happen, but I'm like, that wasn't the reason I did the collagen. I do the collagen. But one of the genetic things in my family is that I inherited. As we get older, our hairline like recedes and goes back. And I'm getting like this like hair coming in here. And y'all see I got a head full of hair, and I was losing more hair, and now it's just, I don't have it out today, but it's long, and I got this hair coming back in here. I'm like, oh, that's just a little benefit that I wasn't expecting. So yeah, I do collagen. In summary, because I'm about to close, I just wanted to share where I am, give you an update of where I am in my vegan journey, in my plant-based journey, still going strong. You can ask me questions about it. It was a gradual thing over the years. I stopped eating pork as much, and then, you know, you stop eating pork except for bacon, right? And then I didn't eat bacon. And I don't know. I can't even tell you. It's not, I smell the bacon. It smells good, but I haven't wanted it. I mean, I just don't. You might not be there. That's okay. But can you do less? Can you do less? And so, my challenge for you, again, 3 things. Try a meatless Monday or a day of the week where you don't have meat. Eat less meat on your plate. Even the FDA recommends, if you look at the healthy plate, you divide it into quads, only 1/4 of that plate has a meat. Most of us don't eat like that. Half of the plate has the vegetable, half. And then the grain is in the other quadrant, that other quarter. Love you, Tanya. Thank you. So that's number 2, have less meat on your plate. And then number 3, try to have more color. on your plate. More color. If your plate is white and beige, and that's what you eat all the time, you're definitely not getting anywhere near the amount of vegetables. And if you don't like them, you don't like vegetables or you need help, I have products, so you could go to my website and look, or just ask me to help you with those things too. Okay, well, that's it for now. If nobody had questions, again, that happened last week, but I don't know. Maybe you'll talk to me later once I'm not live anymore. But I miss you. I miss you interacting with me live. So yeah, feel free. I invite you to share, ask questions, either publicly or privately. I love you. I do. And there's nothing that you can do about it. You have greatness inside of you. I believe in you. Peace. Mwah.